How carnivore heals your gut, the science behind zero fiber. For decades, we've been told that gut health has a single, non-negotiable ruler, a king whose throne is made of bran, whose crown is made of kale, and whose scepter is a daily supplement. We've been told that if we want a healthy gut, we must worship at the altar of fiber. We force-feed ourselves bran muffins, choke down green smoothies, and pop psyllium husk capsules, all in the name of being regular. But what if, for a significant number of people, this relentless pursuit of fiber is actually the very thing destroying their gut? What if the key to healing a damaged, inflamed, and leaky gut wasn't to add more roughage, but to remove it entirely? Hello everyone, and welcome back to Carnivore Cure. I'm MS Mirza. If you're struggling with bloating, IBS, SIBO, or constant stomach pain, and you're ready to hear a scientifically backed perspective that completely contradicts everything you've been taught, then you are in the right place. Today we are tackling one of the biggest sacred cows in all of nutrition, and we're doing it with the latest research. So if you're ready for the truth, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, because this conversation is about to change everything you thought you knew about gut health. Part 1. The Fiber Dogma, a well-intentioned mistake. Let's start by understanding why we're so obsessed with fiber. The theory goes back to the 1970s with observations that rural African populations who ate high-fiber diets had low rates of diseases like diverticulitis and colon cancer. This correlation was turned into causation, and the fiber hypothesis was born. We were told that fiber works in two main ways. 1. Bulk. It adds bulk to stool, preventing constipation. 2. Food for microbes. It acts as a prebiotic, feeding our good gut bacteria. This sounds logical, right? But here's the problem. Correlation is not causation. And when we actually started doing controlled trials, the story began to fall apart. For instance, a 2012 systematic review published in the American Journal of Gastroenterology that looked at studies on fiber for constipation found that, and I quote, "The previous strong general belief that fiber benefits functional constipation lacks support from randomized controlled trials. In many cases, especially for people with already compromised gut motility or sensitive nerves in the colon, adding more bulk just adds more bulk to an already clogged system. It's like adding more cars to a traffic jam and hoping it clears up." But the most compelling evidence comes from looking at what happens when we remove fiber entirely. Part 2. The Zero Fiber Paradox, how removing plants heals the gut. This is the part that shocks most people. The carnivore diet, by eliminating all plant fiber, should theoretically lead to gut disaster according to conventional wisdom, but the clinical reality and a growing body of anecdotal evidence, which is often the precursor to formal science, paint a very different picture. Here's the science behind why a zero-fiber, all-meat diet can be profoundly healing. 1. It gives your gut a break from antinutrients and irritants. Plants don't want to be eaten. To survive, they produce chemical defense compounds known as antinutrients. These include lectins, which can bind to the lining of the gut, potentially contributing to leaky gut. Oxalates, sharp crystals that can cause immense pain and inflammation. Phytates, which can block the absorption of crucial minerals like zinc and iron. For someone with a healthy gut, these might be a minor nuisance, but for someone with pre-existing inflammation, IBS, or an autoimmune condition, these compounds are like pouring gasoline on a fire. The carnivore diet completely removes these irritants, allowing the gut lining to finally calm down and begin the repair process. 2. It starves the bad bacteria, especially in SIBO. Small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or SIBO, is a condition where bacteria that should be in your large colon migrate up into your small intestine. When you eat fiber and complex carbs, you are literally delivering a feast to these misplaced bacteria. They ferment these carbs, producing gas, bloating, pain, and toxins. A zero-fiber, zero-carb carnivore diet removes their primary food source. It's a powerful starvation therapy for the pathogenic bacteria, allowing the gut to rebalance. This is similar to the principle behind the low FODMAP diet, but taken to its most effective elimination level extreme. The myth of you need fiber for short-chain fatty acids. A common argument is that we need fiber to produce butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid that is the primary fuel for our colon cells. This is true in a standard diet, but it's not the only way. Research, including a paper in the Journal of Animal Science, has shown that a very low carbohydrate diet increases the colonic uptake of ketone bodies, which are produced when your body burns fat for fuel, and these ketones can also be used by colon cells as an alternative fuel source. Your body is incredibly adaptive. On carnivore, it simply uses a different, equally effective energy currency to maintain a healthy gut lining. But what about poop? Addressing the big question. I know what you're thinking. MS Mirza, if there's no fiber, what happens in the bathroom? This is the biggest fear, and the reality is the opposite of what most people expect. When you are fully adapted to a carnivore diet, a few things happen. 1. Your body absorbs almost all of the meat you eat, leaving very little waste. The waste that is produced is often small, firm, and odorless. Many people report going less frequently, perhaps once every day or two, and describe the experience as quick, easy, and completely effortless. Why? Because without the constant bulk and irritation of fiber, the gut isn't being forced into spasms. Inflammation goes down, and the gut can manage the smaller amount of waste on its own schedule. For people who have spent a lifetime struggling with diarrhea or constipation, this newfound normalcy is nothing short of a miracle. If this explanation is making sense and you're starting to see how the pieces of the puzzle fit together, do me a huge favor, smash that like button right now. It tells the YouTube algorithm that this is important, valuable information, and it helps us reach more people who are suffering needlessly. And please share this video with one person you know who struggles with gut issues. They deserve to hear this side of the story. Part 4. The real-world evidence is overwhelming. While large, long-term clinical trials on the carnivore diet are still in their infancy, thanks to a lack of funding interest, we cannot ignore the mountain of clinical and anecdotal evidence. Gastroenterologists like Dr. Paul Mason and Dr. Sean Baker have been presenting cases for years showing the dramatic resolution of conditions like ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease, where the removal of plant fiber leads to a cessation of bleeding, pain, and inflammation. Severe IBS, where decades of pain and bloating vanish within weeks. Chronic constipation that was unresponsive to high-fiber interventions. This isn't just a theory, it's a clinical reality happening in thousands of people who were failed by conventional dietary advice. Conclusion: rethinking gut health from the ground up. The fiber is essential dogma was a well-intentioned hypothesis, but it's one that has failed millions of people with sensitive or damaged guts. The carnivore diet offers a powerful, paradoxical, and scientifically grounded alternative. It works not by adding something, but by subtracting the irritants, removing the fuel for bad bacteria, and allowing the body's innate healing intelligence to take over. It's an elimination diet in its purest form, providing the gut with the most bioavailable, easy-to-digest nutrients possible while giving it the peace it needs to repair. Your gut is not a compost bin. It's a delicate, highly intelligent ecosystem. Maybe it's time we stop treating it like one. If this conversation opened your eyes and gave you hope, then I've done my job. This is why Carnivore Cure exists, to bring you the science, the stories, and the strategies to take back your health. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We have so much more to explore. Now, I want to hear from you. What has your experience been with fiber? Have you tried reducing or eliminating it? Let me know in the comments below. Your story could be the one that gives someone else the courage to find their solution. I'm MS Mirza. Stay strong, trust your body, and I'll see you in the next video.